I'm scared.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Oh man.
You're gone.
and next week it won't be Q.
I'm back.
Oh shit. Welcome back to a new edition of the 3 Up 3 Down podcast. I'm your host Brian Hunter, and this is my co-host Mr. Quentin Meyer. This episode is going to start a little different than where we've been the last couple weeks. As you know, we've had our team preview. We're going to be joined by Bombers captain Cam Smith in the second segment here tonight.
Yep.
Or this morning, today, whenever you're watching. There you go. I covered it all. So that's going to be a fun little preview. A fun little preview over his team. And then the third segment, we're going to be kind of going over some rule book changes and everything. And Cam's got an announcement to make, so you're definitely going to want to stay tuned and be a part of that.
Real big announcement.
But for the first segment here, we have the legend himself, Mr. Texas Tim Dean, is going to be joining us to kind of go over the history of What a Bat and a little bit of the history of him with Wiffle Ball. So definitely a fun story that we got to shoot with him just the other day. Scheduling wise is what worked out perfect and stuff. So with that being said, why don't we get to it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now it's time for our special guest on today's pod. His What-A-Bats have been used in leagues and tournaments all across the country, from UWIFs, Ridley Park, and of course here in MO WIFF. Like I said, spread wide across the country, from Texas to Florida, from NYC all the way up to Alaska now. He's the inventor, creator to one of my favorite bats on the market, Mr. Tim Dean, a.k.a. Texas Tim.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. I've been excited. We've had this set up a few weeks and been looking forward to it.
Sure, for sure, man.
All righty. So, Texas Tim, let's start off. So, what got you into wiffle ball, and what inspired you to create the What a Bat?
So what got me into wiffle ball is, and I may be long-winded a little bit, is when I was a teenager, we started playing wiffle ball in a friend of mine's front yard. And I was probably 13, 14 years old, and we just started playing. And then we wanted to build a field, and we actually we had woods behind our house, and we actually built an entire wiffle ball field behind our house in the woods. We cleared it all off and created our own wiffle ball field. Funny stories about that is that, having to come up with the material for it when you're a teenager. We ended up finding a swing set frame, which is, an A-frame, right? And we said, hey, that makes a good backstop. We just need to get the fence for it. Where do we get the fence? So a couple of things that we did. Our houses were built, again, our houses were against woods, and they had this pipeline back there, and the pipeline company built a chain link fence behind all our houses. Well, a lot of the houses already had wood fencing, and on the other side of the wood fencing in the woods was the chain link. So we would go behind their house and cut the chain link. They didn't need it. And we'd roll that stuff up and drag it down, sometimes as far as a half mile back to the field. And we ended up putting chain link fence around the field. And one other thing I'm not proud of at this time, we were building a press box. Where do we get the wood? Who has plywood? Just in abundance. Well, about 3/4 of a mile away was a Pee-wee baseball field that they had plywood advertising signs in the outfield. In the middle of the night, me and my buddy go down there and undo them from the fence, pieces of from the fence, and we have to get it back. So we set it on the bike pedal of our bike and balanced it straight up and down as it's sitting on the pedal, and then move the bicycle down through the neighborhood into the woods and back to the field. So we end up getting plywood by, I hate to say it, taking it from the Pee-wee field. So we were resourceful, and we built our wiffle ball field then, and we played a lot of wiffle ball, and just crazy rules too. Like if it hits the tree, it's there was a pine tree right in the middle of the field. It was in play. right? And then there was a tree at first base. That was first base. So if you got the ball and you threw it, you could throw it. It was pegging, right? But you also could throw it at the tree. And if it hit the tree before the runner got there, then they're out. So all kinds of crazy rules. That's where I got my start. We played probably until I was 18, 19 years old, faded away. Always had an interest in it. And when I want to say closer now to 25 years ago, when I was working here for the municipality that I worked for, I decided I wanted to start have a wiffle ball tournament. And where do I start? What kind of this was still just the onset, early stages of the internet too, right? I mean, the really good internet. And I ran across the guy in Philadelphia that did tournaments in Philadelphia, and I contacted him about it, and he was doing tournaments every year right outside of Philly. And I contacted him. It was called actually at the time it was called the New Jersey Wiffle Ball Association, and Mike Palanzar was the guy that ran that, and he's a legend in the game. He is probably one of the biggest legends of the game, and he ran these big tournaments right outside of Philadelphia, massive tournaments that some of the guys, old timers today, have played in those. So he helped me get my start. He sent me their set of rules, and my rules foundation that I had here were an incubator from his rules, and I used a lot of his verbiage that are still in my rules today. So he really helped me get my start. I talked to him on the phone quite a bit about getting started, and he really helped me a lot. And I got started, and we just started doing tournaments here over 20 years ago here in the Austin area, which is the suburbs of is Cedar Park, Texas. And we started doing tournaments here. And then after several years of doing it, somehow, Billy Owens and Bruce Christie, who were running Fast Plastic at the time, found me and reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in hosting the national championships of Fast Plastic. And it would have been like their third year to do it. And I had the resources, I had the desire to do it, and we started holding Fast Plastics national championships here in Cedar Park on an annual basis until one year Billy decided I'm done, and he went away for a few years. He brought it back a few years later and asked me if I'd host, and I did. And it lasted, actually, I didn't host it. We did it in Frisco. Will Marshall, you guys may have heard that name. Will Marshall helped get that going up there. And Will Marshall plays on the Cajuns. So he he lived up there and helped get it going up that direction. So anyway, it got started and booted up again. Now, I've been doing those, and then it went away again until we started back UWIF. Now, as far as the bat's concerned, the origin of the blue bat with a wooden handle didn't come from me. It started with Tom Locascio, and that bat was called the Loco bat. And he just recently, in the last year, stopped making those bats and selling them. His website went dark, and he's no longer selling them. He's been out of the game for a long, long time. Another legend of the game. But he'd been selling them a long time. And I had some of his bats. I had bought some of his bats over the years, so I've seen how they were constructed and what they did. And I just decided one day, and it really wasn't on a demand, but I thought to myself, I could do this. I can make this bat. But where to start? I had to make the wood handle. Well, the very first thing I got out of my head, how about, because I had a wiffle ball bat using the screwball blue barrel. I had it years ago, and it had an old fungo bat handle stuck inside of it that I did, right? I said, how about I do that? And I reached out and I tried to find, and I found some places that made and sold blemished bats, meaning they couldn't be used for baseball. They're just trying to get rid of them for whatever reason, maybe arts and crafts or whatever. And so I had first started buying blemished bats and cutting the handle. So I was throwing away the barrel. It'd come in this big box, heavy box, they're 30 something ounces of probably a bat, and get these box. I'd cut the handle off. But the problem is the hole of the screwball is a 1-inch diameter hole.
Yep.
The handles all came different sizes, right? Some of them were thinner, or, they taper up to the barrel, right? So they got thicker as they got up to the barrel and go, okay, what am I going to do here? And so sometimes if the handles were thinner, I'd have to use tape around the handle to thicken it up to get inside the hole.
Right.
Well, I didn't fit really. So the old bats, and there may be still some out there, have this type of design because the knob's already there, everything. I don't have to do anything. And I put them together a little bit like a Frankenstein type of thing. It worked. Yeah. It was working. And I sold some bats back then. But then it just got to be a problem because and then I asked the bat manufacturer, could he just cut them down at 16 inches, right? Or 18 inches, just cut it right there and then send me the handles. He goes, well, okay. And so he'd cut them and send me the handles, but it just got to the point where it was just problematic. And I got to thinking, can I make them myself? Well, I had a buddy of mine that does woodwork and we talked about it. And I actually splurged and bought a lathe. A little mini lathe, and took a class at a woodworking shop here in Austin area and made a bowl. That was my first thing I made. They teach you how to make a bowl. Okay, I had some of the basics down. And I just started trial and error, putting it together and figuring out what I need to do. And lo and behold, I started making handles and I got better at it. Did I make mistakes? Yes, because I also found out the quality of wood that I buy can be different. Like 100%. if I go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get a 2-inch, and that's what they come out of the 2-inch dowel. If I get a 2-inch dowel, sometimes that wood isn't as good as some of the wood that I now have found sources for. Now, you guys also know I was making them and doing really good. I set up a store on eBay. I was selling a ton of them, sometimes having trouble keeping up because during the summer I'd be getting orders and I'd have to set up my lathe outside in my driveway. So I'd have to set up a tent to keep me out of the sun. I had to pull the lathe out of my garage and it took some time to set up. And then it's hot as you know what, and 100 degrees sometimes. So it wasn't always fun. And I was working full time at the time. So I'd had to try, okay, do I have time after work to set everything up and make maybe 3 handles? And so I was doing that and doing really good. I actually had set it up as a business, and really eBay was doing pretty good sales, and then word of mouth. But then the barrels, the story that I told, the barrels started coming warped. And I didn't have it in my heart to sell Brian and Quentin a bat with a barrel that I could look down and see it curve. I said, this sucks, because I was getting like 1 out of every 3 barrels that were straight. And I go, I can't keep doing this and buying these barrels. It cuts into my profit if I have to buy all these bats and they're coming warped. So I just took a break. I said, I'm done. And I really did. And then one day last fall, I said, I wonder if they've gotten any better. On a whim, and ordered some. And sure enough, they came straight. And I went, what? And so I was just shocked. And then I just started making a few. I just sort of put it out there a little bit. And I'm not lying. Since I've made that announcement, I'd sold, and thanks to you guys and thanks to Ridley, I mean, I've sold 45 bats, but most of them have been to you guys, right? So, and I can't thank Mo Wiff, the community up there. I can't thank Sam Skibby enough. I can't thank you guys enough for believing in it and it working for you and believing in it and wanting to buy it. And so that goes a long way with me. Word of mouth, when you say, no, if you want a bat, contact Tim. Ridley Park twice has bought. So when I first booted up the first time, they bought a bat for every team they have. And they did it again this time. They bought a bat for every team that they have. And I go, what grips you want? We don't care. Just a different grip for each bat. Okay. And so it was just, again, being really good to me. So I thank you for that. And I haven't lost money since I've rebooted. But I've had to make a lot of it, purchase stuff that I had gotten rid of or no longer had. I got plenty of wood for handles here ready to be made. I have plenty of barrels here, and I had to restock a lot of my grips. And so I easily here in my house, if I don't have $800 worth of grips in my house, I'd be surprised. But seriously, so if you just wanted a grip, say, Tim, I just need a grip. Can you drop it in the mail? How much you want for it? And I could probably mail you a grip for $10, right? And just with postage, because they're not very heavy. I can put an envelope and off they go, right? And I really like using the Alien grips. They're high quality. They're as good as any other grip. You can buy a grip online and sometimes pay $20 for a grip. And I don't think they're any better than some others. It's just sometimes maybe they got a licensing thing on it, or they think that their shit don't stink. Can I say that on this podcast? But
yeah, that's fine. Like when I ordered my bat from you, I ordered no handle because for Christmas, me and my kids were big into Marvel, and my son came across a Spider-Man grip.
Yes.
And he goes, I think that'd look good on a wiffle ball bat. And I was like, I think you're right. So when I ordered your bat, ordered a bat from you from when we did our mass order, I was like, I'll just leave mine naked. Because I knew what I was going to do with it. And I mean, now the fact that what we're talking about is just, this is just a licensed one, but I mean, it's neat. It's cool to have.
It is. I first thought it might have been a St. Louis Cardinal one, but then I said Cardinals don't have blue in their logo.
Now, I'm a homer when it comes to everything else St. Louis, obviously in my background. But I mean, at the same time, it's when it comes to that. I mean, I used to be kind of the lizard skin, just the marble. And what this bat, I got this bat off a guy who had it for years. So this is obviously one of, your first time go around. The handle had broke on him. Yeah. And so I kind of replaced the handle with it. I didn't know much about it, the bat or, reaching out or anything like that to you. I replaced the handle with a 1-inch dowel rod. I, measured it and saw that's what it was. And I mean, I've got smaller hands, so this is a 33 inches. It's a 33-inch bat. And I mean, my grip on here is loaded up to where it fits good in my hand. And Q loves swinging this bat just because.
Is that one of mine? Is that one of mine?
I believe so. I mean, this barrel's taped up, but it's identical. Everything's identical to everything.
Yeah,
so it's got the Screwball official logo on the plastic.
So one of the things that I actually, when Loco Bat was being made, the way he did his was that he would taper the end where the 1-inch goes in the hole, and he would make that the wood part so thick, and he would pound it in with a mallet, and it would force into that hole, and he didn't do any screws because it was so tight. However, when he did that, it was weakening that plastic neck. And I had a guy reach out to me and says, I bought one from Loco Bat. It's cracked there at the neck. And he showed me a picture, and he says, I've sent it off, and he replaced it. It's cracked again. So when he was forcing that wood in that hole of that neck, it was expanding. It was holding, but after pressure, it would bust open that plastic there at the neck. And I said, I never wanted to do that. The first time I I had in this vision of, oh, here's what I'll do. I will put the wood in there, and I'll take a nail gun or a stapler and pop it in there. I thought that would be perfect. Well, as you swung, it would eventually start working that staple out. And I said, I can't do that. So now I use the wood screws, and I have not seen any wood screws work themselves out. You can tighten them, or even maybe put a bigger wood screw in there that, that's a little bit thicker if it did create a problem. I also at one time had some knobs breaking on the back end out of a couple of bats that someone said, hey, the knob broke. And it was a quality of wood I was using, and I went away from that. It was just too light. So I stopped using that quality of wood. The other thing, you guys know this, you have to take care of it. It's also an investment on your part. When you do, it can withhold a bat flip, but I wouldn't bat flip it all the 100 feet up in the air, because it's still wood, and it can come down, and if it hits wrong, I still think it might break. Quentin's going to go get one maybe, but I still think it might break. And if you're playing on concrete, you are playing on the turf, which is probably harder than ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
that's how I got this one. It was broke handle.
Has gone through the ringer. I've had this one for 3 years. This is won a championship and hit a home run off Cooper Ruckle, but I've probably chucked it like this 10 feet this way. I mean, it had bumps and dents and dinks, but this baby right here is my prized possession. I love this bat. To everyone listening,
is that a money grip? No, that's that. You know what? They don't make that grip anymore.
Ooh.
Yeah, the company. I have to look, but I think that's one of the grips that I inquired about recently. That the company that made it says, yeah, we discontinued those. I said, do you have any in the back stock? They have some different ones, but I think that grip is not even available anymore. And it's if you're looking for another one, Quentin, it's called Ballpark Grip.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yep. You can look it up, and they have you can buy directly from their site, but you will probably not see that grip.
This color.
No, but it's great. And I really do think, I don't think it necessarily loses its pop, but I'm curious. I wonder in your brains, you guys that y'all swing it, if you put tape over the barrel, do you think it helps or hurts the pop?
I think it comes down to how worn in is the wiffle ball that's being thrown. All right. So what I mean by that, if it's more pearl or a clean ball, I think without the tape, it doesn't matter. But if a ball's more worn in, it gets in. We watched the MLW game, games with the MLB players down in Texas. You watch them tape and tape and tape and tape and tape and tape and tape, because it's what they're kind of used to and getting that feel, because it's more of that coming through and making that solid contact with it. And I think if the wiffle ball's worn in, the tape helps. I don't think it matters if it's more of a pearl. So I see no problem with it, but I'm kind of best of both worlds, obviously.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm going to kind of test and see what it is, because originally, before I had ever swung one of your bats, I was a moonshot guy. All right. Now I still have certain pitchers that I like to use a moonshot for, it's just how it goes. But
I'm what about this over here?
The speed that now that we're playing with now through and through. Oh, I can get through a zone a hell of a lot faster with one of your bats versus anything else.
Yeah. The moonshot bat's good. I there is a disadvantage to a moonshot. Well, here's the two disadvantages. The price. Okay. For use, you could buy, I could make you 5 water bats for the price of one of his bats, right? And send it to you with shipping. However, it's a good bat. Here's the other negative, and I'm with you. I will never talk bad about another bat except for the bat. If I were using it, it's the price. And the second thing is they can break.
Yep.
Because if you overswing, he sent me a bat one time to give to my home run champion, or home run derby champion. He won the home run derby on Friday night. He used it on Saturday, broke it on Saturday with an overswing hitting the strike zone.
Yep.
So when you swing around, Quentin, I bet you swung around and hit the backstop or the strike zone on your overswing. And if you do that to a moonshot, you're going to crack it.
Yep.
And then you're pissed because you spent that $250 on a bat. And the quality that he's come out with that you saw at UWIF, those are some really good bats, right? And so it's a good bat. Those are the two negatives of a moonshot, is that you're playing Russian roulette whether you're going to break it or not.
I do want to say, with the new models that came out at UFs this past year, I think it was Vin Lee. He said that you get 2 home runs tops, maybe a couple singles, and then it's dead like that.
Yep.
It softens, right? That material softens. I will tell you, you guys don't have extreme heat like we do down here, but I tell people, I don't know if it gets to 100 or over 100 for you guys when you're playing. But I also tell people, protect your bat in heat. Is cover it when you're in the field so the direct sun is not softening, because it's plastic, right? Let's just get down to it. And it's softening that plastic as it heats up. And I'm not saying put your bat in an ice bath, but what I'm saying is cover it and keep it in the shade so the direct sunlight isn't on it, and the bat will last longer.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
right.
I mean, I'm going to steal one of Q's questions.
Do it.
All right,
Go for it.
What, we've talked about, your history in the wiffle ball and everything. We talked about the different style leagues, being part of the tournaments and everything, and the different leagues that you've been involved with. What is your favorite style, or what style do you most like to see played? When we're talking either fast pitch, lob pitch, medium speed, what's your favorite to kind of see? And I know I'm maybe putting you in a spot here. All right.
No, you're not.
I know I am, but it's just what your personal opinion is.
So I will tell you, as a spectator, fast pitch sucks, right? It really does. Other than the awe and the ooh of watching someone throw 100 miles an hour and a ball move 3 times, right? As far as excitement, I think the medium pitch game is a lot more exciting to watch, and I don't know if it's in it, maybe more marketable. I don't think you can market the UWIF style game or the fast pitch game very well when the few hits and the little offense there is when you've got 2 really good teams. We're not talking about one of the top teams at UWIF playing one of the teams that are not very good, because there's going to be a lot of runs scored. I'm talking about 2 top teams playing each other at the same time with top level pitching. They're just going back and forth with nobody scoring runs. That's not exciting. It's not good for TV. What we watch, we mostly see clips of the home run, right? Or that's what we see clips of and go, oh, that's really cool. But if you watch the whole game, I don't know if you're real excited about sitting there watching the whole game. That's just me. But the medium pitch game, lot more going on. There's a lot more balls put into play. And yes, you can't throw 80 miles an hour in a lot of leagues, but the medium pitch, depending on the league you're in, that speed limit is different from league to league, right? Scuff ball or clean ball, I have an opinion, but or cut ball, I have an opinion, but nonetheless, that also changes the game of how you go about doing that. So as far as watching it, this is why these kids really like watching MOW. There's a lot of action going on. When you add in the base running, my style here in Texas, we don't do base running, but when you add the base running, it adds a whole different dynamic of action. And I think that's one of the things that the kids have picked up on and watching that. But as far as level of talent, when you go to UWIF, we ain't messing around, right? We ain't messing around. We're talking about the best players in, I can say the world, because I think as far as wiffle ball it is, right? Because it's not really played a lot in other countries. Yeah. But we're talking about how awesome these guys are. And when you see pitching coming from these guys, these top level pitchers, and I'll tout a Texas boy, Cooper Ruckle, when you got guys like that are just like, man, Quentin, you know this. Sometimes you're swinging blindly. I'm
Yeah.
just going to swing and hope I hit it.
Yep.
Right.
And
Yeah,
Brian, I did a little analysis one day. I was watching a mall game, and I was actually charting how many balls actually were put into play or actually even hit. I'm telling you, as far as percentage wise, you know, you could say, well, 300 hitter in baseball is great. I'm going to tell you right now, someone hitting 200 in wiffle ball fast pitch is great. And
100%.
I don't know if there's something wrong with that fundamentally, or, you know, and you can't increase offense in the fast pitch game unless you back up the pitcher's area. And I don't know if that's good for pitcher's health and arms, right? So, but nonetheless, it is what it is. I just wish I could see sometimes a little bit more offense. I think as a fan, it would be a little bit more exciting, but because it truly comes down, usually it comes down to a swing of a bat, connecting with a ball that breaks 6 feet, throwing a 90 miles an hour from 45 feet away, and it's a home run. Yep. Right? It's not many balls that are just getting in a hit and scoring. Right? A lot of times it's dramatic and there's a home run hit, right?
Oh yeah.
And that's nothing wrong. Everybody likes dingers, but that's but I will say it does create drama in these games when it's so close like that, because anybody can win. They just need to connect. And you know, the juggernauts, they've been built for big moments. They've had the big moments, and I know you know, those guys are second to none on a lot of tournaments, and they're great players, and they're getting to the point where they're the axis of evil. And I know Red's going to clip this and say I called them the axis of evil, but if he even listens. But the point is that it's one of those teams like the New England Patriots in football. They're winning all the time. You just want them to lose. You don't dislike them. You just want someone else to win. Mm-hmm. So, and I love Red and those guys. Those guys are really good. Those are amazing players. But you get to the point where there are teams. No one was rooting for the Juggernauts other than the Juggernauts, right? Everybody was wanting someone else to win it, and but they just win. They go out there and do it. So, as far as answer your style, I like watching medium pitch better.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Alrighty. So, kind of tell us about your favorite wiffle ball moment, just ever. If you, off the top of your head, favorite one ever.
As far as playing, I remember Billy Owens coming down here and playing a tournament back when I was playing, and Billy was probably a little bit in his heyday of playing the game, and he was pitching for another team that he'd come down and played. And I remember hitting a home run off of him, and even almost every time I see him, he talks about me taking him yard in that tournament. So as far as playing, I think that's probably the one. But as far as a tournament director, every time one of you guys comes up to me and says, "I'm so glad you're here. I appreciate what you're doing. You're the best." Those moments to me are what keeps me coming back and doing it. Look, I have no skin in the game, right? You guys know that. I have zero skin in the wiffle ball game. I don't have a team. I don't have a son playing. I don't have I don't have financial interest in it because I lose money going to these tournaments, right? And so I have no skin in the game. There was times that I would take off for vacation, taking 3 days off of vacation. Guys, you got full-time jobs. You can do the math of what monetarily 3 days of vacation is worth. And also, if you got a family, which you do, Brian, you know the value of 3 days of vacation, right? Yep. Quentin, I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying because Brian has kids.
I'm only 19. That'd be weird.
but still, the value of that, I was giving that up, right? And so, but I was doing it because of my love for the game. I will tell you right now that, and Brian, you just said you went to the tournament just to be around, the boys, right? listen, I will tell you right now, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone in the country that loves the game like I do, because of what I give up to be a part of the game. You know, my wife lets me do it, right? She knows it makes me happy. Just go. And I love doing it. I really do. And it's, again, I have made zero money off Wiffle Ball. Zero. But I love the game. I love going and being a part of these tournaments. And yes, I'm busy. Saturday is a crazy day, you know, and I feel like if you ever saw the movie, A Beautiful Mind, right? You know, where he's got the formula on the wall and he's up there doing I feel like that sometimes, of looking up there and trying to orchestrate everything, or air traffic controller. And that's really bad nowadays, right? So, but trying to direct traffic. And then also, y'all guys don't realize, sometimes I have to deal with people saying, I don't want to be on field 7. I want to be on 3. The guys that know me know not to ask me that ever again.
Oh yeah, I bet I would. I can only imagine, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
I can only imagine the egos that you've had to deal with in that situation, because it unfortunately, it is part of life. We're going to deal with people that have their thoughts and egos there. You know, it's when the people's that can, people can check their ego and check it, at the door, and understand, that's nuts to me. I mean, I could only imagine you sitting there kind of smirking when they say it. It's like, don't say that to me. Field 3 it is for the rest of the tournament. No, I'm not saying you're petty like that. Not saying there's
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Tim, I truly appreciate your time today. Obviously it's such the passion and that you have for the Wiffle Ball game, and B, just being part of it is, it's second to none. And I wanted to end it just so beautifully. And I've been sitting here as you're talking, trying to find that perfect ending. And the way you just did was just chef's kiss, absolutely beautiful. But no, man, I definitely think if you're open for it, and I know you kind of alluded to it a little bit ago, if you're open to it, we'd love to have you on at, any time throughout now and the end of the season, or hell, even if you got a topic, you got my text, you can text me. Hey, I got something I want to talk about. You got time on the pod? Hell yeah. Let's get on. Let's have a good time. Yeah, no, man, I'm speaking for Q here, I guess, and Q, you can say your own thing, but I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, I want to tell you one last little short story. I was talking about building that field when I was a kid. We built the field and had an opening ceremony, no lie, and opening ceremony and everything. Well, it was really cool, all that kind of stuff. So years later, about 23 years ago, when I did my first tournament here, one of my first tournaments here in Cedar Park, a buddy of mine that we played in his backyard came here to Austin, and he brought something for me. He said, I got something for you I want to give to you. And he brought me this ball. And if you can see, it says Hall of Fame.
Damn.
So unbeknownst to me, this is my handwriting, and how spooky it was from him to walk up with this ball from 1978 and give this to me. 1978 ball. You probably don't have. There's no ball probably even in existence that may be except in the Wiffle Ball office that's this old. But this ball right here says Hall of Fame. I wrote it after the first pitch I threw. We threw out the first pitch. I put Hall of Fame on it, and there it sits right there. And he gave it to me, and I didn't remember signing this, but it's my writing. And that was just such an awesome moment that he drove from Houston here for 3 hours to bring me that ball. And how it was just awesome. And it sits here, and I look at it and just remember why I love this game. And that's why, looking back, that kid signed that ball. Me. Back then in 19. Yes, I was 13 years old. It's awesome.
Dude, that is so cool. That is so cool. Well, no, man, Tim, I appreciate you, sir. That story was awesome. That's gorgeous. But thank you so much for coming on, and we'll definitely be doing it again. And with that being said, we'll be back with our second segment here shortly. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the second segment of our 3 Up, 3 Down podcast. We're now being joined by Mr. Commissioner Cameron Smith. Led his Bombers to an
glass.
8-9 record last year, third place in the National League Division. Batted .226, slugging .453. On the mound, he pitched a 6-2 record with a .41 ERA to his second Cy Wiffle in MO WIFF history. How's your offseason been, bud?
Good, busy.
We get Bombers captain Cam Smith tonight, right? We don't get Commissioner Cam Smith?
Got the Bombers hoodie on, you know. Okay. So I'm here not as the commissioner tonight, which is good. You know, every captain gets to come and talk about their team.
Now it's
you
your
know,
turn.
and I'm always the commissioner, so it's always like what can you say, what can't you say? I'm gonna put that commissioner role to the side for tonight and like be able to like line up with everybody else and be honest and be about Bombers tonight. So, but yeah, off season's been really good, been really busy. Man, we're only like almost a week away.
Dude, we're
and
what, Thursday? Today's Saturday,
yeah.
So 12 days away.
Yeah, and it'll be closer when this comes out.
Right.
So like, you know, we're busy, and you're helping me a lot. So you know, you know how busy we've been getting ready for this season. It's a big one. We have a lot of good things planned for this year. But yeah, raising 2 girls, my off season is that's what I get to do during my off season is spend time with my family. They love it. Now starting to creep in. It's wiffle ball season. Dad's a little bit more busy, so but I'm ready. I'm ready to get out there.
Gotcha.
So, entering your 5th year as manager of the Bombers, what do you feel like the difference is between last year's team and this year's team?
Oh man, so not a whole lot difference, honestly. Obviously, we added a few more pieces. I think that is really more going to be like vibe centric. Like bringing in certain pieces are really going to help the morale of the team and help us when we need it. And if guys are missing, we had a couple guys miss last year, but I mean, really, we're just going to kind of carry over what we did last year. I think at the end of last season, we really found something together that really pulled us all. We were having so much fun at the end of the season last year and in the playoffs. Even Tommy, who is, you know, more quiet and reserved, you could tell he was having fun out there. And, like, we just want to carry that. So, like, bringing in these new guys, and which I'm sure we'll get to, but, like, just keeping that same vibe and same momentum that we had at the end of last season after we'd been playing together for a couple months. Now we're basically bringing back the same team. Now we all have a feel for each other. We know each other a lot more. We have a lot more chemistry, and we can just go out there and play some Bomber football.
So we'll keep that momentum going on that question. You know, you only had 1 draft pick in this year's draft. You took Ben Doolin.
Yep.
You signed Michael Dobb, and then you brought back, I'm gonna butcher the name.
Alex Barrick.
Barrick. All right. Yeah. So you brought back Alex Barrick, and like I said, you signed Michael Dobb there. So continue. You know, we got that out.
Yeah. So with what we were doing, bringing this team together, or what I was doing as the captain is, you know, a lot of people really kind of downplayed or talked down on how the Bombers offseason went. Didn't make enough moves. Is it really about the same team? You're not doing much. We were fine with that. We felt as a team that we had a very good team last year. You know, we were very close to beating the Mojo. We had a lead in Game 3 in the playoffs. You know, and I made a mistake, walked a couple guys, and had to, you know, and then made a mistake against Sam. But, like, we fought the Mojo, who were the eventual champions, better than anyone last year. I think that goes unnoticed on a lot of people. People don't see we had them on the ropes. Mm-hmm. And we want to continue that with that same core. Like, I felt like I should have won that game. You know, I don't know if it was I took the brace off in the second game because I was feeling good, and then, like, because of the difference, maybe I got wild because it was that second game I was pitching that night because with how we played our series last year,
we started
with my daughter having an accident, we had to.
You play all 3 pretty much in one night.
We played all 3 in one night. So,
Right.
like, I pitched Game 1 and Game 3, and I was feeling really, really good. So I took the brace off, and, like, I think it kind of messed with my location a little bit, and, you know, nothing excuse. Like, I still pitched pretty well in that game, but, you know, the one mistake, and then we were still in it at the end of the game, and you've seen me 1,000 times where if I get out to end the game, in an elimination game, I'm probably going to be pretty mad. And, like, you can see in the video that I was like, dang, like, I just missed that. Like, I wasn't even mad. Like, I was, almost smiled because I was just like, dang. I was right there and I just missed it. So, completely confident with the group that we had going into this year. And then adding Ben Doolin is huge. Is he going to be here a lot? Probably not. But it's someone that we can rely on when he's here to give us really, really strong innings, which saves my arm, helps it some of the other guys, gives us time.
Don't have to pitch Ethan Weiner.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I loved seeing that. That was fun last year. He loved it. But, that's just one great thing about, having him. We don't need him full time. We, that was never a lot of people were like, oh, that's who they're going to get in the draft. That's who they're targeting. I actually did try to make a trade in the draft, and it wasn't going to be from him.
You offered me the farm for the second pick.
Yeah, not that trade. I actually made a real offer to somebody else.
Oh, I don't know. If I'd have said yes, I don't know how that would have gone.
I don't have a farm. So.
I know, right? I'd been like, what's in this farm?
Yeah, that was definitely a joke.
Mary had a little lamb. That's what I was getting.
But no, I did try to make a trade because there was somebody in the draft that I was very high on and is very young and I thought could develop and not come into a system where he needed to be a guy. But that didn't work out. So Ben was there and I was like, oh, cool. That's an easy pick for us, especially working with Ethan. They do a lot of work together in the off season. So fits in really well with us. And then Michael Dobb, like I felt was just, struggled last year with the Mambas, but, I've seen him play in all over, and I think he's a really good player, and I think, the more he practices, the more he learns, he'll be a better player. And I think learning from me and Ethan is a very good teacher and did a lot with our guys last year, and I think he can do that again with Michael. And then Alex, big vibe guy. Like, I've known him since I was 4 years old.
Gotcha.
So, like,
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, so, like, literally when Cole was born, his mom was Cole's babysitter. So, like, I would go there before and after school, and, like, we would play tennis baseball in the court or play hockey in his basement. Or, like, that's just all we did. All we did, me and him, forever. I'm 32, so, like, we've been playing sports for 90% of our life. Gotcha. So, it's going to be a lot of fun, and, another guy I get to drink beer with on Thursday night.
So, you named all those free agents, and obviously Ben Doolin. So what kind of role are you looking to take this year? Are you looking to kind of step back, let the young guns take the reins, or is it just same old Cam Smith where it's like you're at the forefront of this team?
I mean, I think it depends on how the season's going, honestly. I always say maybe I kind of want to take a little bit of step back, but then, my competitive edge just gets me going. And,
same old Cam Smith wasn't a shot. It's just...
No, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people say I can't be the workhorse anymore.
I was going to say dickhead Cam Smith. No, I'm just playing.
There's been that guy before, too.
Yeah.
But no, I do like being the workhorse of the team. I like being the guy on the mound. Like, it's where I feel most comfortable. But also do want to give those other guys these opportunities. I've kind of already mapped out in my head who's going to start each game, honestly. Obviously, that will change over time as things happen. But, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be kind of doing the same things, but also, like, I do trust the guys that I have. There's a reason why I didn't do anything drastic in the off season because, like, I have my core guys. I trust my core guys, and that's what was so hard to even bring anyone else in. Like, a great example is Ryan Brown is still a free agent and wanting to play. And, like, I told him, I was like, dude, I would love to have you. Like, you're a great hitter, but, like, I don't have a spot for you, and it's not that you don't belong in a lineup because I think you do. It's more of I already have my guys. I had them last year. I trusted them last year. I'm trusting them again. And also, dude, my guys are young. Like, Tommy and Johnny are very young players. And, like, I don't think people really realize how young they are. They're only getting better. Like, I didn't get as good as I was when I was their age. It was when I was in my mid-20s, late 20s. Really, it was like 28-ish when I was like had my breakout season. So like these young guys, I'm really high on and them getting better. We saw glimpses of Tommy on the mound last year. Johnny didn't pitch a ton. He was hurt last year. He pitched in that playoff game and
He pitched well against us.
almost beat the Mambas in the playoffs. Cole hit that grand slam, so like the numbers look worse, but he's only getting better too. So I mean, he was an MVP in NWA. Like,
Oh yeah.
I have a solid roster up and down, so I'm very excited for it.
So with that being said, is it going to be you opening night?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was a
Absolutely.
rhetorical question.
I know, but I was going to be. You didn't let me. I was going to. Are
Yes,
we bringing
everybody,
back
but-
Johnny Gunn? Are we bringing Johnny Gunn out?
No, so 2 years ago, I think it was season 3. Yeah, so 2 years ago, I made a mistake. Not necessarily a mistake, but it was kind of when I was hurt. So I started Justin Hall on the mound in a game that had like 1,000-mile-per-hour winds. It was his first ever game in the league. And I was like, oh, we have a lead. I'm going to let you go. Because we were the away team, and it was like, hey, if we have a lead, you're starting. If we don't, I'm starting. And then we got a lead, and then, like, I let him out there, and then, like, it was just so hard to throw strikes. Like, it was, almost impossible. So, like, that, and then, like, looking back on it, I'm like, dude, like, I look at MLB, and you look at, like, opening day starter. Like, that's a big deal. So, like, got to go to the reigning Cy Young or Cy Wiffle and, like, put your best guy on the mound. Not saying that, like, I'm going to be the best pitcher on the Bombers. Like, I expect to be because that's just me personally. But, I mean, yeah, it's opening day. Like, I got to be the opening day starter. That's, I'm the captain, and we ride on that.
Me and Tom made a joke a couple episodes ago, just talking about me and him is going to be on the mound night 1
It would be fun.
at 9:00.
It would be fun.
It'd make for great TV.
It
but
would
it's
be.
not happening.
It'd be fun.
not happening.
Stats would go up. Hitting stats would
Yeah.
look good.
I know. It'd be pretty fun.
I would love
Oh.
to see it one day. Maybe in a all fun game.
Oh, we could add some stuff. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, hey, I mean MLW does it in an all fun game, or they have in the past. Along with like their All Star game, they do it at kind of the same time. It's in the,
1 week, like a 1 week only kind of thing.
yeah, like
That's something for us to dive deep in and have real conversations about.
Just like
That'd be a lot of fun.
3-inning all fun game right before the All Star game.
like an exhibition game.
No all stars involved. All non-all stars.
Oh yeah, no All Stars involved.
Compile the people that comes like the home run derby and stuff.
Yeah.
Pick like 4 captains, do like an exhibition tournament or 2, like
You're onto
recess
something,
style. Like I pick
We
you.
want to make All Star Night bigger.
Yeah.
Especially now that it's free agency time, and
Right. Yeah.
that's a good idea. I like that.
I do
Mark that in the books.
I do like having the idea of I do like the idea of locking free agency in, and I mean that's something that the front office obviously needs to vote on because I know we talked about it, but we never officially had the vote. But I would love to see, and I know we're getting off of Bombers preview and
Yeah,
then
it
Commissioner,
happens.
yeah, just what happens. I mean, here, you know what? Here, pause on my part. Q, why don't you ask the last question? We got that.
There we go.
Alrighty.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
So, is this the year that the Bombers get the 3rd championship, and why?
I think every person sitting here has said kind of the same thing. If that's not your expectation going in as a captain, you're wrong.
It's more of the
And-
why.
Yeah.
What we're looking for.
First off, damn it, Cole, you had such a great answer.
I know.
Yeah.
God, you ruined it for everybody, bro.
He just had to get here first,
Hey, that's just that's how the cookie
Yeah.
crumbled, bro.
But I mean, obviously, I truly believe that we have what it takes. I mean, like I said earlier, we put you guys up your best fight last year.
Yep.
Not only was it game 3, which nobody else did, it was runs against you. It was, I mean, obviously, I don't think Jackson wasn't there in our
Jackson
series,
wasn't
but
there,
notoriously I've hit Jackson well. Jackson knows that.
and you also got to play. You also got to play the game. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
who's there. Gotta play a game
absolutely.
from you.
So, I mean, I felt like we were closer than anyone last year. I feel like we're only getting better. We've added some pieces, and maybe a certain someone has been working a little bit more and closer leading into the season. That's always kind of hindered that person in the gym. So, that person getting a little bit stronger, maybe healthier for the duration of the season would be a big key come playoff time. So, very excited. Very looking forward to how.
I like the crypticness of
You
that.
talking about yourself or Ben Doolin?
No, I'm talking about myself.
Oh, that's what I thought you were doing.
Everyone is like, you guys here it's Ben Doolin. He's so good. He's the ace. He's not the ace of our team. He's very good. I'm still the ace. I am still the reigning best pitcher in this league. And, Connor Jaso, very good. But until he plays a full season, he cannot say that.
All right.
Like, talent-wise, sure. But, like, have you played a full season? Have you won a Cy Wiffle? Like, these are things I've done, and I've done more recently than anyone.
Yeah.
And I have taken, not personally, but I've heard a lot of things about me this year that kind of lost it, kind of doesn't have it, not the same guy. Cool. Keep saying all that stuff because you guys are messing with the wrong person. Like, I don't think you realize the competitive edge in my mind. I know you do. But, like, dude, I'm coming. Like you guys are, like, fueling the fire. Not just you two, but, like, everybody in general.
There he is.
And, like, dude, like, this is the guy you're getting. Like,
there's the Bombers game.
I have not lost anything. Have I been hurt? Yes. I still have my stuff. I'm still that guy. And if you think, oh, I'm getting older, look at what Sam Skibby did. He's older than I am, and he's getting better.
Yeah.
So, like, hello, like, I'm still here. Like, I'm like, dude, like, I'm very excited for this season. I have a great group of guys. I'm very excited, and yeah, I've always said this from day one, even from way before we started this league. If I'm ever on the mound, I feel like I can beat anybody, and I feel like before MO WIFF, it was always, if I'm pitching in a game, I feel like I can get a hit off of any pitcher before they can get a hit off me. Well, now I have a lineup that I trust that anyone in our lineup can get that hit if I'm on the mound. So, yeah, I 100% think that we are going to be a contender this year, and if you want to call us a dark horse for a championship, absolutely. But, we're still the only team with 2. And we're going to try to be the only team with 3.
I think it's the best answer we've got.
That was fantastic. He's been sitting on that one.
I
I love the fact that I was like, oh, this is gonna be great.
Hey,
when you start talking a little bit faster, and then the draws started coming out, and I'm thinking, here we go.
I get to listen to these at work, and I'm in a warehouse that
By yourself.
I am by myself.
Yeah.
So literally, I'm already playing every answer in my head every time I hear someone else answer it, and my answer's never changed. It's just gotten more clear and clear and clear. So
God, I love
I'm here.
it.
I'm ready.
Dude, I love it when everybody gets their natural raw on a pit. And
That's why I said, hey, I'm not wearing my MO WIFF hoodie. I'm wearing my Bombers hoodie today.
I like it.
This is Cam Smith, Bombers captain, Bombers player, not commissioner of MO WIFF.
Yeah, screw that guy. We like this guy.
No one likes that guy.
I
No
mean,
one likes any of the
commissioner's the one that gets booed when it goes up to the draft board.
I know.
Oh, man. No, so, we kind of end these segments a little bit. We're going to do this 2-part. We're going to do this part 2-part. I'm going to start with our question.
Wait, can I want to say one more thing about my team before we answer the question.
Fine. Anything else you'd like to talk about? Your team?
Sorry.
No. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Because I just thought about this, and
that's fair.
you guys have recently made a comment. And I guess
If you're coming after us, no.
No. Because I think it's something that a lot of people don't understand, and somebody, I don't remember who, it might not have been one of you guys, it was somebody on the podcast said, maybe it was Jason, I think it was. No one, because it was when he asked you the question about what team you'd want to go play for.
Oh, yeah.
And you said the Bombers.
I did.
And Jason's like, first person ever to say that.
Oh, yeah, it was Jason.
Here's my argument against Jason for that. Look at my previous rosters. Year 1, Andrew. Do you think Andrew would have ever left if we did not make him be a captain?
When he said he was forcibly made a captain, I was like, oh, I didn't know that part.
I did.
Yeah, sorry, Josh. And it was my decision too. We needed good players to run teams, so Andrew and Jordan basically were forced to be captains. That's why they're no longer captains, because they didn't necessarily want to be captains.
Mm-hmm.
But Andrew left because he had to. Nick Bone, dude, the conversation I had with Nick Bone when I told him he was going to be a manager and like we decided on it, the guy loves wiffle ball, loves having his own team, loves getting to put that Kings on a team jersey. But he told me, he goes, dude, I am heartbroken that I am no longer a Bomber. He wanted to be a Bomber for life because he loved playing, and I loved playing with Nick Bone. So much fun. Learned so much. He soaked it in like a sponge. He's one of my most favorite players I've ever gotten to like play/coach because like he just learned because he actually wanted to get better. And like I love that. It's like Nick Bone wanted to stay, but there was a reason he left, to go be a captain. So cool, I've lost two of my top players to be other captains. Justin Hall. A lot of people don't know this. That was kind of my idea. Did I want to lose Justin Hall? No. But as a league guy, league commissioner, and I don't even know if I was a commissioner at that point. I don't remember. It all kind of runs together. But it was, hey, I know you two really gel together. Nick, why don't you talk to Hall about going with you? Hall, why don't you think about going to the Kings? I didn't want Nick to go there and not have a start. Where would the Kings be if they didn't have Justin Hall last year? That was planted by me. I put my own team behind because Justin Hall, if I would have offered him a contract, I think he would have stayed, personally. I have a great relationship with Hall. Still talk to him almost more than anybody in the league besides you and a couple other guys. But all the players that I've lost who've become all-stars, none of those players wanted to leave. It was either they were forced to leave or like, hey, why don't you go do this to make that team better for the league? So, like, argument against Jason is, yeah, some people don't want to come play with me, but no one's ever wanted to leave the Bombers. And I've just never had to go get anyone else.
See, when Jason said that last week, I literally was in my head. I just kind of was like, oh, I can't wait to hear Cam's response to this.
Yeah, and I'm glad I remembered it now because I did.
He didn't say, oh, you want to play on the Bombers?
No, I thought that was awesome, and I seriously, but it shouldn't be just you. I
think it'd be interesting.
And you made a good point though. Everyone loves the competition, wants to play against me. That's how it's always been. And when we started this league, I always said, I'm not gonna go get Sam Skibby and Spencer Bogat at the time, all those players, because we were all playing nationally together, and I was like, I want to play against them to get them better. So when we go to nationals,
it don't matter.
We're what?
I said it was Jason that said that, but anyways, continue.
I'm saying
I know
prior, yeah. So I never wanted to play. Or I always wanted to play against those guys, so we got better when it came time to national tournaments.
Yeah.
So, but obviously now the league is in a whole different place.
A whole different ballgame.
Where it's okay, now I kind of not necessarily have to go out to free agency to get people, but I got to start, building the team. But really, I love the team that I've really kind of just drafted. So.
Gotcha.
All right, now we can switch.
All right, so we like to end these segments. We like to end these segments, with a little fun. We get to ask a lot of questions. You've obviously been on before, and we've had communication. So, I kind of feel like either if you got to hit a home run here with these questions, because I know people are kind of expecting it. What questions do you have for me and Q?
Yeah, but see, that's the hard part. Is I've already been on with you guys a lot. This is the third time. First time I'm on the couch.
Well, yeah. Well, I literally started to say that earlier. I was like, "Do you know how close I was to setting up the table just for when you walked, for when you got here?" Because when I told you we were doing it for the table last time, you go, "But I want to sit on the couch."
I know. I felt everyone else gets to.
We made sure the couch, and because the new stuff hasn't arrived yet.
But also, I'm the last one to go. Oh, I like that. That was a good tease. But also, everyone else has already asked a bunch of questions, so it's how do you navigate a good question when like you've gotten the same questions or different questions?
I've got the same question
Yeah.
6 times.
Yeah.
7, including this
Yeah.
punk ass.
Well, yeah, you're different because you're a new
Right.
manager. So like, and I'm not going to ask you that this time. But actually, how do you? No, I'm just kidding.
What?
How are you going to handle Andrew?
How am I going to handle Andrew?
Just give him some bush light. He'll be fine.
Dude, he made the point last week, legitimately. He made the point last week, and I didn't think about it. Me and him have the ability to sit there and just watch and be
it's gonna be...
go team, go. Now, obviously,
Andrew's all about that.
dude, it's going to be, I mean, I was already stoked about playing with Andrew, right? And I mean, I don't know Andrew on a personal level like you do.
Known him since like, oh my God, elementary school.
Right.
Jeez.
And I mean, it was one of those things where getting to spend just a little one-on-one, time.
Yeah.
Even in this setting, I still consider it a little one-on-one. But adding that on top of the other conversations me and him have had, it was just, I was like giddy like a little kid. I mean, me and him just, half the time he'd break because I start breaking.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And I mean, dude, there was so much video that we shot that I wish I could share with all of you, but...
Yeah.
What kind of question you got for Q? You gotta have something for him.
I know. I mean, it's like I said, it is hard because you guys have been asked so many questions. But like on a personal level on Mo Wiff, what has been like your favorite memory? Take away the Mojo Championship because obviously that's gonna get up there.
Q.
But like, let's get like, what are some of like your? Because like this question that comes up in Skibby's interviews a lot is like, what's been your favorite memory of like SWBL weekend? And like, there's like, oh, it's all one weekend, so like, it's kind of a different vibe. Mo Wiff is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like, do you have like a certain? Maybe it's kind of a two-parter too, where it's like a playing question and just like a non-playing question is like, what's been your favorite memory, and not necessarily.
So like, what is
you
what
like
we
as the Mojo? Like, you can't just cop out and say winning the championship.
No,
was the
I don't know.
best.
That probably wasn't gonna be my answer anyway. What is the criteria? Only Mo Wiff or like Mo Wiff
Who
tournament?
the hell you think you are?
Go
Me
both.
asking questions.
What?
Go both.
Okay, so obviously outside of Mo Wiff, so in the tournament, I'd have to do the home run off Cooper Ruckle. Just
That
because,
was pretty sick. I mean, that was a Mo Wiff classic. So
yeah,
it makes
just
sense.
because stuff that was come out after, like my dad had told me after that he contemplated not even hitting me that game. And a team with Jordan Robles, Vin Lee, Sam and Gus Gibby on it.
Yeah.
And it's the 17-year-old no-name kid that the Lawa guys didn't even know who the hell I was.
Yeah.
They go, who the F is this guy? And it's, so that's still probably top of the list over the championship.
That's cool.
But in Mo Wiff,
That was a big moment and a championship moment too.
yeah, I'd have to say in Mo Wiff, man, that's a tough one. I'd probably have to just go with the first career home run off the top of my head, just because that week I told my brother Jackson, I go, this is the week. I just have an inkling. Because I went my whole first year with.
Was that the one off Jason?
Yeah.
No, it's just so sweet.
And he was going, Q! He was freaking out. I was freaking out. My brother's
Paul comes running for the high five.
Yeah, Paul was running. I mean, I felt it. My brother Jackson was like, "You're gonna do it this week." And just to have them there.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
then everyone freaking out. That's probably the top of my list.
Does the All-Star Game home run robbery come up in that category at all last year?
Honestly,
You said favorite.
honestly,
most
It was a
forgettable-
favorite for like.
It's a
for
favorite
me,
for me.
For me watching that, I mean, and nothing against you. That was just a cool moment.
Actually,
cool.
you want to know my favorite? It involves Q too.
When
he
he
dropping the ball against Paul.
Oh yeah, that's a great
the
moment.
worst
That's a great
part is
all-time moment.
I hung out.
I remembered my question. Go.
I hung out with the Mojo, and they went back to the video, and I had to sit there and get laughed at for 5 minutes about that. That was that.
That was
your question?
Okay.
That was great. You know what? The fact, the excitement that came across your face there. We're gonna ask. You get a second question.
It's because I remembered this question, and it's for both of you.
Okay.
This has got to be brought up.
Is this a commissioner's question or is this?
No, this is a fan question.
Okay, I got you.
It wasn't mine. I got it from somebody else.
Oh.
In the DMs.
No.
Somebody noticed that every episode, you guys bring up a certain someone.
Yeah, and you did it for us this episode. Should have seen my eyes just shoot out of my head.
Who noticed?
It was a.
There's a lot of people
Yeah,
that know too because I've told them.
It was a different. I don't remember who the name was, but
Imagine it was him.
is this something you guys want to tell your audience? Why you
No,
bring up
it's
a
just
certain
fun.
person?
No, it literally has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with anything, right? It literally just for the viewers
Nope,
that
not
don't
the
know.
Good try.
Good try, it's not back there. For the viewers that don't know, me and Q have a very close friendship with Paul Pugh, right? Paul didn't play so much last year, but he's come back this year with the Kings. Because of the first episode that we had a Paul Pugh jersey hanging up. All right? So it kind of started as an Easter egg for all of us that we were going to either get Paul to be brought up or have his jersey displayed in every episode. Now, unfortunately, that streak got ruined a couple weeks back.
I thought it was last week.
I cannot recall if it happened on me and Jason's episode.
I don't think it did. And
But
I think
nonetheless, it's been something that's kind of fun. There's been a couple other Easter egg things that we've planted or said or done or that I've done or something that's just fun for me. Fun for us. Whenever I'm editing, these videos like me and Jason alluded to last week, they take hours on hours, right? So having something fun for me to put in is always a highlight for me, and that's always something that kind of tickled me pink.
I did love it too. But I loved it, and I did notice that it was missing from one of the episodes, and I was like, dang. Because, I remember the last...
got edited out.
Because the last time I
Because it
was
had to.
on, me and Q were talking, and Brian was off camera when we were doing the top 15, and Brian's like,
the jersey!
So, no, super fun, though. I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, no.
I have another question, but it'll be offline for you, Q.
Okay. I'm scared.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Oh, man.
You're gone.
and next week, it won't be Q.
I'm back.
Oh, shit. No, I'm kidding. I'm just playing.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
No, that's not
that'd be
good.
fun.
I'm too busy, and you guys are doing a fantastic job.
Oh, man.
I'm not stepping in any way.
Got you.
Okay.
Well, but if ever needed, I know you would.
On a case by case basis.
We'll see. Depends on who the guests are.
You gotta tell my wife because she's like, "You're going for another one." I thought you gave up the podcast, and I said, "I did," but I'm also the commissioner. I still have to be a guest when they ask, and I still got to go be a team captain and go do my interview.
You know the worst part about it is we've had this one planned and scheduled since your last one. You
I
didn't
know.
tell her. You gotta
No,
put
I
shit
did.
on the.
I did, and I tell her things in advance, and then she forgets things because we're busy and we have
That's
two
fair.
kids, and she's like,
That's
"I gotta do bedtime again by myself." I'm like, I did it last night."
Oh snap! All right, so we're gonna end it on that. All right. So with all that said, stick around here for the third segment. Me, Q, and Kamish is going to stick around with us, I believe, and kind of go over a couple of new rule changes we have going on for Season 5 here. And sounds like we got a big announcement to make as well. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the third segment. So pretty much, we've kind of, like we always start a segment or end a segment, the show at least. We talk about making sure we like and smash and hit the subscribe button to the YouTube channel. That way you're alerted for every time a new video drops. We also normally, talk about the merch store. We talk about the website. A couple weeks ago, Q brought up, the MO WIFF Classic, how you can go on and register and everything. But unfortunately, the website's been down, right? So we're going to let Cam kind of talk about that a little bit before we get too enthralled into our third segment here.
Hand up. Hand up. This is on me. Normally, what we're about to talk about is our rules. You can go onto mowiff.com. You can click on the home tab and bang, rules are right there. You can't do that. Ken actually asked me for the rule book because he's gonna help us rewrite it, and I was like, I have to go home and find it on my computer because it's not easy accessible anymore. So yeah, the website's been down for a couple weeks now. We are in the process of fixing it.
For us to redo it. Maybe in the off season next year.
So not only did we want to redesign and update the website, with all the rosters and everything, but late one night I was working on a bunch of stuff on the merch store. I was integrate. If you've seen our new our merch store, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can see our Instagram. You can see our TikTok.
By the way, we are going to have the link that goes directly to our merch store in this video, so you'll still have that access to it as well. Q.
That's still up.
Let's pinpoint that too. We'll load that to the Instagram as well. Put a link to the merch store. I'll make sure you got the link.
All that is still accessible. You can go to you can just Google search MO WIFF, and you can still find our stats page. You can still find, it has a schedule and everything. You can still find the merch store. So all that is still live. Just our main website is not, and that's because when I was going on the merch store and I was adding our pages to the merch store, which is a great look,
right?
I think I've gotten compliments on it.
And I even asked the question if it could replace the website.
Yeah. So I thought what I was doing was adding the website to the merch store because it said connect a domain or something like that. So I was like, okay, I'm connecting our website to that. Typed it in. Didn't really realize it. I was kind of half asleep. It was like midnight. My daughter had just woken up, and I was downstairs. I could hear her crying. So I was like, uh-oh, I need to hurry this up so I can go upstairs and help out. So I'm just clicking through, not really reading everything through. Didn't realize I actually changed the domain, like the actual domain of mowiff.com to the merch store. Like if you typed in mowiff.com, you were going to the merch store. Right. You texted me the next day, like, hey, did you know this? And I was like, no, dude. Like I was.
And it was early.
Yeah, and I was like, I did it so fast at the end of the night. I just closed my laptop, ran upstairs, helped the bed, helped get my daughter back to sleep. Didn't even think about it. Then a couple hours later, I get another text from Jason, and then I'm like, oh my gosh! So I'm like, I got to get home and fix this. I get home and I fix it, and I'm like, okay, take it off of the merch store. Great, cool. Now I just gotta republish it on Wix.com is what we use. So I'm like, cool. I do that, and it has a full step process of here's a video with all the detailed explanations on how to do everything. Follow it step by step. All the name servers, everything looks great. Cool. Bang. Push the button, and it's like, okay, cool. 48 hours, your website will be live. You're back. You're good to go. I'm like, all right, cool. 48 hours goes by. Didn't work. Try again. Okay, so tried it again 2 days later. Doesn't work. 2 days later, I said, hey, Jordan, my wife, come downstairs, look at this, make sure I'm doing this all correctly. Yeah, everything looks right. She even did it a different way, but I was like, yeah, everything looks good. Cool. Tried it again. Didn't work. So okay, who can help me out? So we got a guy helping us out. He was like, all right, let me try this. He tried it. Didn't work. 2 days later, he contacted customer support, and he went in, took everything away, wiped it away, and then redid it all. As he's talking with customer support, he's like, hey, we're going to, is this right? Is this correct? Yes, everything looks good. Should be live within the 48 hours. That's tomorrow. So Sunday for, so this will already be passed. So hopefully the website's up.
Right.
By the time you're watching this or listening. So fingers crossed that it's back up. I'm not so optimistic because I think it's just going to do the same thing, and then we'll have to go in and contact them again and figure something out. But we are in the process of getting this back up. And I've talked to someone who's going to help me kind of redesign the website as well to what my vision of it is for. Someone who knows what they're doing and can help me. But I'm very excited for the future of our website. We just got to get there.
Gotcha.
So long story short, I messed up.
You know what? Before we dig too deep into here, you said you had an announcement to make. Do you want to make it now, or do you want to make it at the end?
Save it for the end.
Save it for the end. All right, cool.
That's a banger that we want to end on.
I just figured since we were already talking league stuff.
Yeah, no, let's save that for the end. Save the good stuff for the end. Make them all listen to this. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. I
know what I'm doing.
There you know what you're doing.
I used to be a host.
No, I'm kidding. I just been wanting to say that. All right, so
That was funny.
So as our leagues evolved, and we've gotten more players, competition's gotten better. There's some rules that are no longer needed, and so sometimes we got to make amendments, or we just got to take them out all entirely, or just rewrite the rule to benefit what is going on in our league now. So we're going to go over 4 major rule changes that has taken place for the season 5 that will go into effect night 1. So in just a couple days time. First one, it's not really a rule for everything, but if you've noticed in years past, normally we post a video where our divisions get drawn and set, right, to where we go over that time and time again.
There's a reason we did that. It was always to try to keep the competitive balance equal in the divisions, everything else. Now that really our league is so evolved and developed, we don't really see that as necessary anymore.
Right.
As every team is that good and capable.
Yeah.
Why keep doing that and changing it instead of let's create something stable and lasting that makes it a little bit more fun.
Right. Well, that takes a second line of what I was going to say out of it. That's all good. But, our divisions now are set. All right, so to what Cam just alluded to, it's just because of the competition level and where we've gotten, it's gotten to be so even across the board to where moving on just to kind of create these rivalries and so on and so forth, just to add a little bit more fun to it, if you will, make scheduling a little bit easier for us too.
Very.
But at the same time, if for some reason, if the competition level drips too heavily to one side, as a league front office, we do have the ability to vote to redraw the division lines and redraw it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of step 1. Now, getting to gameplay rules, one thing that kind of is kind of neat of what we've done is in the past we've always played with a pitcher and 3 fielders out in the field. Because of the fact we're pushing for more people to be involved in games, more competitive kind of lineups and so on and so forth. We've moved it to where it's been voted on to where now, if you bat 5 in a batting lineup, you can add a 4th fielder. So pitcher plus 3 fielders. So that's going to be something that's going to be very strategic that I think a couple teams are going to utilize.
Pitcher plus
Do
3?
What?
We can already have 3. Pitcher plus 4 fielders.
Pitcher plus 4. My bad. On me. I was already thinking ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pitcher plus 4. So to have a total of 5 fielders out in the field. And that's how it's even written. That's what I get for not reading.
So if you bat, because a lot of people don't know that too, you can bat 4. That is the minimum requirement is batting 4. If you bat 4, you play 4 in the field. That's including the pitcher. If you bat 5, you get 5. If you bat 6, you still only get 5.
Yeah.
So anything over the 5, that is capped. You can't just keep adding fielders. But, this was a rule that I never thought of. And somebody brought it up to me, how do we keep guys involved, especially with our bigger rosters? And I thought it was a great idea. And I was like, wow, I'm all for that. I think that's a great addition. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, in gameplay with, getting hits taken away and certain things like that. But I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to let you kind of explain the tag rule, the tag rule now. A little bit, that way it's your words, not mine.
Yeah.
But that way it can kind of be explained a little bit more detail, because obviously I'm just fumbling over my words tonight.
Yeah, that's all right. It happens.
Stuff happens.
So the thing with our tag rule is if you've ever watched our games or played in our games, so last year we had a rule: if you have a guy on third base and you hit a fly ball and you yell tag, that runner will tag from third to score if the ball landed in the outfield or it was caught in the outfield. So potentially you could hit a pop-up to the pitcher, yell tag because it just came right off the bat and you're yelling tag. The pitcher could catch it, but that runner's not going to go because the ball never got to the outfield.
Right.
I think it was Cole that brought it up, but he said that is kind of, it's not really fair because there's no penalty for yelling tag. If you yell tag, that runner should be going. He's tagging up. Not fielder's fault if it's a pop up to the pitcher and he has an easy throw for the double play. So now instead of, oh, you can yell tag, but even if it's a step in front of the outfield line, if you yell tag, he's running, no matter where the ball's at. So that just takes away the fact that you can now, you used to be able to yell tag on anything and it might not have mattered. But now it's, hey, you know, and it creates a lot of people rush that throw and maybe more runs will be scored of it. So who knows, but I think it'll be a fun addition to the rule. The tag rule in wiffle ball is always very
iffy.
Yeah, it's always different in every league, but I like that we're keeping it just the runner on third base, and as long as you yell tag, just remember as a hitter or as a player on that team, like if you yell tag, I don't care where that ball is going. It's a live ball and he's running. So you could pop it up to the plate.
Now that throw has to make it to either hit the strike zone or hit the net directly behind the strike zone.
Correct. Yep. Either
what
one
if
of
it
those.
hits the camera or the phone? Are we calling that part of the net?
I would say yes, because if you hit the camera, it's high enough that's hitting.
Right.
So
I think it comes to judgment call in
yeah,
situations
absolutely,
like that.
yeah, judgment call.
Because I think potentially that's where we could run into.
Yeah, and I think that is at that point you would know if it's hitting it or not, and no one's going to argue that we make that judgment call.
Right.
But that's I mean, a tag double plays only ever happen once, and it's very hard to come by. So I think this could potentially bring that into play more. But yeah, as long as you hit the strike zone or the net on a fly, can't bounce like the double play rule.
Right.
Then yeah, it is an out. And if a lot of people don't know, if you hit the net, because it happened last year, and we spent like 5 minutes looking in the rule book, like, does the runner hold or is he out? And there is no hold. It's that runner went, and he's either safe or out.
Right. And then just to kind of say the ground ball double play. It's still the same as what the rule has been in the past, which is got to hit the strike zone.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can bounce it.
One
bounce.
Can bounce to mimic, a pick play
First,
at
one
first base.
hop.
Yeah, one hop. Now, if it's rolling up there, that's different. But, it can bounce. But it's got to hit the strike zone. So, I'm glad we got that clarified up there. Last rule change, and, nothing too incredibly different. Instead of where we've used points in the past for how divisions are won and how seeding goes into effect, it is going to come down to overall record for how the divisions are won. Because, we had some teams, unfortunately, in the past relatively could have a worse record, but have just as many points because, you get a point for making it to extra innings. Now, this kind of takes that overall win-loss record, weighs that up to be a little bit more of a premium. But that first tiebreaker is going to be the points, just to kind of make it fair all the way around.
Yeah, we didn't. So when we created the point system, it was something to kind of keep it fair for a team that goes to extra innings and gets a loss. Like, the bases are automatically loaded. They shouldn't be penalized with a loss for being put in a bad situation when, like, before was the same as you losing in regulation when, like, you lost the game with no one on base. So, like, we didn't really find that fair, so we went with the points route. But then, with how good the pitching is in this league, we've seen a lot of games go to extra innings, so a lot of teams were getting points, but getting a lot of losses too, and it was like, you have to reward teams for winning games ultimately, so that's why we went to the switch, but also keeping the points mattering. Yeah. So, will be fun to see. I think I do like it because, we are rewarding winning, which I think is a good thing, so... I don't know, but I think that'll not really change much because it is all pretty close before anyway.
Gotcha. Okay, so that does it for a couple for the rule changes that we have going into the season 5. Obviously, when the website's back up and running, we'll have the new rule book will be posted on there as well.
And obviously too, like, we're still a fairly new league. Yeah. Like, this is we've only played 4 seasons. That's why we're kind of having rule changes every year right now. And that just happens when you have a new league. Obviously, we're changing less and less because we've kind of figured out what works and what doesn't work. But I mean, don't be surprised next year if something happens in the middle of the season. We're like, well, that needs to be changed. So we could be sitting here again next year with a couple new ones. But for the most part, we're just trying to grow Mo WIFF as best as a league as we can. So
for sure. So you've been hinting at this announcement.
a little bit.
You said it a little bit earlier.
Yep.
Now's the time.
Yep. Yeah, big announcement. So the front office, a couple key individuals, we'll keep those names because they've been asked to not be recognized. But as a front office, quite a few of us have really been putting in a lot of work on this. Something really exciting for Season 5 and potentially going forward. But we're going to see how it works out here in this first season. And it's going to start opening night. So for most of you who follow us, on the first night of the season, so opening night, on the last night of the season, and 1 week kind of right in the middle.
Week 10.
Week 10, yeah. It's not always week 10, but it's all we always try to.
You just said happening the single game weeks. That's week 10.
I'm just saying, like in the past, like it's always been like around the middle. That was just what worked best this year. So those nights, every single team plays one game. You play a division opponent because that's that extra game on the schedule. So we're kind of coming up with a name for those weeks, whether it's going to be rivalry week or division showdown. We're going to come up with a name for those particular weeks. But for this season, Season 5, we're going to step out of the booth. Everyone in Mo WIFF. And we're actually going to bring in a full-on production crew. Live stream STL is going to take over the broadcasting duties on week 1, week 10, and week 17. And I am very excited. I think this is going to help us as a front office on those nights a little bit better.
Yeah.
But also I think it's going to improve the quality of what you guys are seeing at home and watching back on these videos. So we're going to have
for sure
multiple camera angles, a full-on production cast out helping us run the video. We are going to have access to the video. It will be up on our channel later. We will make a post about all this. Probably already have seen something that we've posted. I know they shared something, and we'll share it here before this comes out. But you'll have multiple different ways to watch this, including a live stream opening night. So if you're not there opening night, you can watch it live as it's happening instead of waiting for that video to come out on our
let's
channel.
Still put an asterisk on that. Just
obviously,
because we said we were going to do the draft live. That we couldn't get that working.
So, but
I don't want to jinx this. I don't want to
jinx it either. But I've been talking with them a lot. We've found bugs that hindered what they were originally going to do, but I think we have found a solution that will work. So as of right now, all signs are pointing to, hey, it will work, because they've already been out to the field and tested a few things. Some things that didn't work that we were like, okay, what is the alternative? What can we do that's better? And we've seemed to found a solution, and very hopeful for opening day that we're going to get to make that work. We're also going to do a podcast with them. We're in a week, I guess, when you're listening to this,
the following Monday.
It'll be the following Monday. A group of us, myself, Brian, and a couple of other people, hopefully one representative from each team, are going to go out to their studio or virtually, but we will be going to the studio, and we're going to shoot a podcast with them so that they can get to know us a little bit, and we can kind of explain everything and what kind of we're looking for and what they're looking to do as well. But I think this is a good partnership going forward. I think this is not only going to help us, with more viewership and a better viewing experience, but also going forward in what we do, and things that we can learn from them on the fly and while we're there. but also too frees us up from the booth opening night, because like that night is always hectic. Every team's playing, so it's like every team needs guys to warm up. Everybody needs to do this. Maybe this is nice. Now that Alex is playing one of the games, someone who would normally be broadcasting can take some pictures of the Mambas, because we don't ever have any.
Yeah.
So just a lot of really cool things. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, weeks 1, 10, and 17. And then we're, if all goes well, they will probably come out for the championship series, which will make mine and Jason's job a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I think we can, and not only just mine and Jason's job, but like everyone's, the help that we have from now we can actually have fans in attendance to watch these games instead of half of our league running around working these games. So a lot of positive things that can come from this. And if all goes well, everybody's getting what they want, and if it works, live stream games. So it won't be every week, but it'll be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be fun to have a change of pace too. I mean, not saying that the rhetoric, the old, what we've been doing is not working.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's still our normal what we're gonna have.
That'll
but
be.
It's gonna be cool to see it differently, because these are professionals that might we might see something we like, and then we can kind of translate into what we do. And I'm just overall looking forward to it. Just kind of.
Yeah.
Just I like new things.
Yeah,
new shiny toys. I love it.
And who knows? Like maybe their video equipment is a little bit wider and can pick up the whole field a little more clear. All these kind of things that they can do because that's their job that we can't.
Right.
We put an iPhone behind home plate, and that's what we go to. So this just allows us to have a little bit more range and bring a little bit more to what we are here in MO WIFF. So,
Gotcha.
Man, I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be, when it's all said and done, I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to help us with our content as well. I think it's going to give us a lot of good clips that we're going to be able to use, not only in that video, but for a couple weeks after.
For sure. Well, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, we've had this episode's been full of information. All the way starting with Texas Tim in the first segment.
Yep.
Talking about his history around it. I mean, I know I learned a lot. I know you're a little bit more of a student of the game, and I'm still kind of learning the overall history of it. But that was a ton of fun. So we want to thank Tim for his time and everything, and we're gonna have Tim on again throughout the season, just kind of talking with Tim, kind of segment, and have a little fun throughout that. Obviously, we thank Cam for coming on, for talking about the Bombers preview and everything that way. We thank Commissioner Cam for coming on and talking about the new league rules and making our announcements and everything. But with that being said, we only got one pod left between now and opening day.
Left.
Just about.
That was good. I wanted it too. I wanted to say it too. One pod left before opening day, baby. One left.
Predictions pod. Everyone's favorite.
It'll be my favorite. I can't wait.
The prediction pod. There's been some debate. So this is
There's
let
still
your
some debate
voices
up here.
let your voices be heard now. There's been some debate on when we should release the predictions pod. Should we do it on our normal Tuesday?
Yes.
Should we do it the day before?
I like the day before.
Or should we drop it morning of?
No, not morning of, because half
Hey,
of
hey,
us
hey, 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 hey. Make your voices heard like everybody else. Put it in the comments or put it in chat.
don't vote for that. Don't vote for that.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Up to the fans.
We leave it to the fans. What do the fans want?
Yeah.
They're the ones that are
Scheduled
they're the ones
Tuesday
paying
at-
our checks. And we ain't getting paid.
This is voluntary work.
But no, I'm excited for it, boys. I'm gonna keep notes, and I'm gonna.
There's gonna be let's put it this way. I sent Q my notes and he sent back holy 4-letter word. So I mean
it.
this is gonna be some fun.
Yeah, no, I'm
We're gonna
excited.
have some fun.
I keep tweaking mine, man. Every time I have not decided yet.
Don't drop opening day, and let's throw out an Instagram live or
Oh
a
god.
live thing while we're at at Topgolf or something and give a little taste. How about that?
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll have to figure that out.
We shall see.
Can't wait
God,
for
I'm
opening
not
day,
gonna
man.
lie.
It's gonna be
I'm not
so
gonna
much
lie.
fun.
I'm loving the. Well, you know what? You know the funny thing is I have the power of dropping it whenever on Spotify. Jason's the one that drops on YouTube, so it's like me and him got to be in sync.
Cool. I'll tell Jason.
Very sorry. Oh man! But with that being said, I can't wait for you guys to see that next episode because it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a banger.
And it might not be from just this couch. So, with that being said, have a good night.
Peace out, Brian. Yeah, y'all thought I forgot.